Hello, humans. Hello, humans. It's probably around 7:30 or something, something like that. Sun's up. We're out here having some coffee, watching people drive by on the road. We've got a kite that's been stuck on our property. A little girl let go of a string apparently, and it got hung up on some trees, and it's been up there now 2 days, just flying away. Probably it's flown several hundred miles in the wind without going anywhere. Anyway, um, so we've got a new crop of medbed scammers popping up, so watch out for that. Medbeds don't exist, and even if they did, so now postulate this, guys. You get an ad in your local, maybe in your mail or something, right, for a local medbed place, and it's being offered, or maybe it's national, and they're telling you about it, and they're rolling out the medbeds, right, and it's a national program and stuff. Now, of course, bear in mind, they're rolling the same people that are rolling these medbeds out are the same people that brought you. So, are you going to go get into a machine that's going to zap your body with all different kinds of energies, and you know, turn you into some kind of a mutant? Even if they had no evil intent, which we know they do, they want to depopulate, and so maybe it's like an incinerator bed, right? Or it's a med bed, and 5 days later, 5 days. That's what really gets me is all of these supposed researcher guys, right? Like Charlie Ward et al. Right? These guys don't ever do any research, and all they do is support these memes, these meme waves that are all in support of the establishment. Nasera and Gassara support fiat currency. Okay, it's a fiat currency scheme in which supposedly they're going to upend the whole thing, and the people on the bottom become the people on the top. This is a psyop. Okay, so there is never been any signed law in Nasara, and Bush did not hide anything. You don't have secret laws passed by our Congress yet. All right, they'll get to that. That's what they did in Germany, and we're pretty close to that. But in any event, though, so new medbed scammers, don't fall for it. Stay the fuck away from it. Or if you think they're real and they're going to help you, go and sign up. Get your energies all just thrashed by these people. Because you're stupid, or because you fall for their scam, because you haven't yet learned. So anyway, people that bring up medbeds to me are, it's like, how stupid do you really think I am? Okay, so next item of business here is that we're actually cracking the wall of denial on chemtrails. So May is Chemtrail Awareness Month is actually taken off. It's also been picked up by a bunch of Brits. And because of the concentration of the population relative to the size of the media in Britain, we're getting response back from their mainstream media where they're having to adjust their stories to account for our efforts at exposing chemtrails. Now chemtrails are not, an evil plot to depopulate and turn frogs gay and you gay and make you fat and all this other stuff. Instead, chemtrails are now the sign of airlines battling it out over, for supremacy in the airline world they're having so many flights, they've got contrails up there. Bear in mind, since the year 2000, we have not used, in the Western world, we have not used any water-injected engines in commercial or military flight. Maybe there were a couple that ran in military as late as 2003, but nothing beyond that, okay? Contrails don't exist because of a jet engine. They exist because of a water-injected jet engine. So contrails don't exist anymore. They're all chemtrails, and we're starting to crack through their wall of denial. So this is very interesting because now we could say, June is, or July is Elohim Space Alien Awareness Month, right? And we all start talking about how the Pharisees and the rabbinical Talmudians worship these space aliens and are anti-human and trying to depopulate humanity and all this kind of shit because of their relationship to these space aliens. And you know, what's the media going to do? They're having a hard enough time coping with us bringing awareness to chemtrails. So you know, they've got a real problem. It's starting to show now, and they're starting to have to react, something they never wanted to do, and yet here we are. We're taking over the media. We're taking over direction in the media, and so we can decide, right? So it's just a couple of us guys that started the May is Chemtrail Awareness Month, right? So you know, pick your favorite conspiracy and make it a holiday, make it an observational thing. So you know. Maybe on 4th of July we add in, and there's nothing the media can do because they've really lost their power, and we're now in control. So the cracking wall of denial is falling away. Okay, so one other thing is that we're going to have a situation here in the United States where we're going to have a drone attack. Okay, now in my opinion, the results of the drone attack will be very much more interesting than the drone attack itself. So somebody's going to use a drone and attack some kind of a public facility. Beyond that, I don't know. You know, it could be a water plant. You know, it could be you know, a community kitchen. Who the hell knows, right? It's not like it's a major target kind of a thing, but nonetheless, it appears as though we're going to get a certain amount of press coverage with it nationally, and it'll trend on Twitter, you know, and we're probably going to have a lot of people claim that this is a Hamas drone attack, okay? However you want to phrase it. But the upshot of this for me is going to be that it's going to completely obliterate the FAA and law enforcement. Sorry about that. I'm going to walk around here for a second. Okay. Anyway, so there's that. All right. So, all right. So people have to understand what we're going to be going through. The powers that be had a real problem. They created fiat money. Fiat money has a side effect, okay? A side effect socially. Fiat money brings forward births. Because you feel rich, you think, oh, I can afford a kid, right? And so you will have a child that you might not have had you been struggling to make it through yourself in terms of you and the family as it's constituted. And so fiat money creates baby booms the same way that it creates boom and bust cycle within the speculation community, okay, by an illusion that's created by the flow of the fiat money through your hands and making you think that you are wealthier than you are, when reality, really, it's all the society going deeper and deeper into debt over this. Now, there's a way to fix all of this, relatively simple. It just takes political will to do it. I don't know if we'll do it, but what I wanted to bring up was we are likely to have okay, so we have baby booms. I was part of one. I was born in the middle of one. Largest number of humans born on the planet in that generation in modern history, right? And that has consequences all throughout the lives of those individuals within these baby booms, right? And we've had many of these baby booms since then, every coincident with all of the easing of the monetary policy, which is basically creating more and more fiat and flowing it through the system faster so that everybody feels wealthier. And so they will, and then they altered the social order itself in terms of how they did things. But nonetheless, so we've had baby booms originate from booms in fiat currency creation. These baby booms impact the entire social order. Okay, we have to build out to accommodate it. We built more primary schools when I was a kid than ever in history, right? We hired more teachers, et cetera, et cetera. And so it has consequences all through the entire social order. If it's not drugs, it's, wasting their mind on porn or turning themselves into some kind of, some other gender neuter monster, right? And so we see these reactions by the system itself. And this debt is required because the system has to support us in our old age through this scheme that they called Social Security, right? And so under the Social Security scheme, they have to have money to keep you going because you pay into it and you give them the money in your youth, and they don't actually buy investments or any of that. It's just a pool, and they're paying out on existing people making claims on the Social Security system now, and you're supporting them with your Social Security dollars, which are not going into an investment for your old age. So now they've got a problem where they have to pay out more than can possibly be coming in due to the nature of the currency itself and its purchasing power. This has been ongoing for 35 years or so, maybe 40 years. And so the solution for them, for the managers of the social order, for the Elohim worship cult and the Elohim behind them, the solution for them is to dampen down on the currency creation. They're really stupid. The Mother Wephonians and all of these people, they don't understand, or maybe they've got another plan. So, but if they're planning on keeping the fiat money system going and integrating the invader class into a consumer class, making them into a new consumer class, it's just not going to work. For many, many, many different reasons, a lot of which have to do with where we're at relative to these strange energies from space. In any event, so simply to meet their needs, that they don't have to pay out the Social Security. If they have to pay out the Social Security to the baby boom generation and keep paying it, and then the generations that follow, just to get through the baby boom generation, will bankrupt the system because our generation was so large and we contributed so much, and we're expecting to haul out that much, right? So, so the system is crashing at that level, and they have to do something. It's the same kind of thing that we ran into at the beginning of last century, and isn't it curious that at the beginning of every century we go through one of these episodes, right? It's all planned. Anyway, they're not going to end up with the result that they expect. We have a bunch of external intrusions into their plan this time. One of which is that humanity itself is under a great deal of strain and stress as a result of the shift of the ages, of moving out of the Kali Yuga into the Bronze Age, into the Dwapara Yuga. Anyway, so because of the injections that they've already put into us, we can expect, because of the nature of what they're doing, they're trying to accelerate it. Okay, so this was a designed plan, but it didn't work because it wasn't as effective as they needed it to be. And they didn't anticipate, I don't think, the necessity for greater levels of easing of the currency, which caused more population to be brought forward in time, thus piling in on their problem. And so they really had to get serious, and they decided they were going to just inject everybody, but they needed something much more acute, something that would do it within the next couple of weeks, out to a few months, out to like 5 years. Basically the whole thing was forecast on the Deagle site, saying that by 2025, USA would have lost 175 million people. Again, that's where we are today. All this stuff is factored in. It's all part of a big stew. Okay, so I'm still working some data sets. A few temporal markers I'm still waiting. Then I'll be able to talk about what maybe is the import of these things. They'll be kind of odd. some relate to the Vatican and its announcement that on May 17th it's going to come on out and tell everybody how to think about what it called apparitions and supernatural phenomena, by which we know they mean space aliens. And I'm expecting others. So I'm expecting 2 other announcements relative to space aliens before we get into the space aliens. So I'm expecting an announcement that would be um, would be outside the Western world. So maybe Russia, maybe China, something like that. Maybe Japan would qualify, but it's really part of the Western world in so far as the thinking there. But in any event, so I'm expecting another governmental level announcement about um, apparitions and space phenomena. I don't know how they're going to phrase it. I don't know the words they're going to use, and this is what I'm waiting to find out, is what sets are going to be involved in these announcements, and what they're going to say will tell me which of these sets, and then I can go in and look and see what other ramifications may be coming out of it. Anyway, so I'm expecting these 2 other announcements probably before the end of June. We should get into them. Maybe it'll be before the middle of July. Uh, they'll allow me to go on in and figure out which of the sets are going to be active and prescient as opposed to falling off on the side, so to speak, right? All right. What else? Okay, so excuse me. So we're going to get the announcements over the space aliens and other language, other wording from the Vatican, and then we'll also have 2 other announcements. But there'll be a lot of discussion about this and about the developing space alien meme over summer. This is part of the falling off of the media and their ability to control shit, because they definitely don't want us talking about that. So these are the markers I'm looking forward to, and I should be able to respond on some of these things relatively quickly in terms of how rapidly they're developing, because I expect them fairly soon. What else? There's a bunch of other shit going on, but I'll let it go at that for today. I'm keeping track of this because I'm expecting something to pop up that would be really noteworthy and interesting to discuss within the next few days. So anyway, take care, guys. We'll we're there. We're moving past M9, and things are going to really start manifesting.